Starting today, all New Yorkers are now required to wear a face mask when leaving their homes to stop the spread of COVID-19. The move is being made after the state extended its shutdown yesterday until at least May 15th. President Trump also today out with a three-part plan to reopen the economy. And while there is no particular date in mind, the plan will definitely put the onus on states' governors to decide when they should be opening up their own individual economies. Very different from what he said just days ago when he said he had ultimate authority as to when the U.S. economy reopens. Let's get more on this now with Jessica Smith. Hi, Jess.
Hey, Alexis. Yeah, the president outlined these guidelines yesterday at the coronavirus task force briefing. And as you mentioned, these are guidelines. The president is putting governors in charge of making the decisions for their states. And this is very different than what he said earlier this week. He said he had total authority to make this decision. But now he is outlining this three-phase plan for states to get back to work. Now, this would start the first phase when a state sees a decrease in cases for 2 weeks and when hospitals are no longer overwhelmed, when they have the capacity they need to care for people. So once that happens, then you'd move to phase one. Phase one, employers should still encourage teleworking. They should have workers, they have to come back to the office. They should do that in phases. They'd have to close common areas. They also want people to minimize non-essential travel and avoid groups of more than 10 people while they are in phase one. Schools would remain closed. Gyms, restaurants, places of worship, movie theaters, those could open back up again, but they would have to have very strict social distancing guidelines in place. Then a state would move on to phase two. This would happen if the state is not seeing any rebound in cases. People would still be encouraged to telework when possible. Common areas at the office would still be closed. Then people should avoid groups of more than 50. Non-essential travel would be able to resume, and schools and camps could reopen. But again, you'd have to have some social distancing in place. Bars would be able to reopen with those strict social distancing guidelines. And then you get to phase three. That's when employers can resume unrestricted work. Visits to senior healthcare facilities could reopen again, but you would have to have some distancing measures, some hygiene measures in place. And then people in general are just still encouraged to practice some social distancing. So this plan is very gradual, it's slow. And then once we get to the phase three, it's still not quite the new normal as you're waiting for a treatment and a vaccine. Alexis and Brian.
All right, thanks very much, Jessica Smith.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.